In a chapter titled The Development of Personality contained in Volume 17 of his collected works, Carl Jung provides a fascinating account of what he called the achievement of personality, which he described as the prototype of the only meaningful life. That is, of a life that strives for the individual realization of its own law. Jung's insights in this chapter are remarkably pertinent in the modern world, where many people are falling under the spell of divisive collective ideologies, and in the process, devaluing themselves as individuals. In an era marked by social fragmentation, political polarization, and the rise of groupthink amplified by social media, Jung's call for the development of personality, understood as the fullest realization of one's unique potential, offers a powerful antidote. His ideas not only illuminate the path to individual fulfillment, but also highlight the critical role that fully developed individuals play in stabilizing and guiding societies through turbulent times. This video explores Jung's conception of personality in depth, delving into its definition, the reasons for its rarity, the triggers that awaken it, the challenges it entails, its societal significance, and the universal potential it holds. By weaving Jung's timeless wisdom with contemporary examples, we will uncover why the development of personality remains a pressing need today, and how it can serve as both a personal liberation and a collective salvation. While the term personality is commonly used to describe the set of qualities and traits that form an individual's character, Jung had a more specific and profound meaning in mind. For Jung, personality is not merely a collection of behavioral patterns or social masks. It is the highest achievement of human development. As he explained, the achievement of personality means nothing less than the best possible development of all that lies in a particular, single being. Personality is the highest realization of the inborn distinctiveness of the particular living being. Personality is an act of the greatest courage in the face of life, and means unconditional affirmation of all that constitutes the individual, the most successful adaptation to the universal conditions of human existence, with the greatest possible freedom of personal decision. In Jung's view, personality is not something everyone possesses by default. It is an ideal to be attained, a state of being that requires conscious effort, self-awareness, and a deep commitment to living authentically. Unlike the everyday notion of personality as a superficial set of traits, Jung's personality is about embodying one's unique purpose and potential, a process he saw as both an art and an act of bravery. To illustrate this, consider the analogy of a seed. Most people live as seeds buried in the soil of conformity, content to remain dormant. For Jung, achieving personality is akin to that seed breaking through the earth, growing into a tree that stands distinct from the field around it. This growth is not automatic. It demands the right conditions, effort, and a willingness to face the elements alone. Jung's definition sets the stage for understanding why personality is rare and what it takes to pursue it. It is not a passive inheritance, but an active, courageous endeavor, one that separates the individual from the collective and requires them to affirm their distinctiveness in the face of universal human challenges. Jung emphasizes that the development of personality is rare because it is not a path that can be chosen lightly or pursued out of mere curiosity. It is a journey often thrust upon individuals by necessity, typically in response to severe adversity or an existential crisis. As Jung notes, only the sharpest need is able to rouse it. The development of personality obeys no wish, no command, and no insight, but only need. It wants the motivating coercion of inner or outer necessities. For most people, as long as life remains comfortable and conformity provides a sense of security, the seeds of personality lie dormant. The impetus to awaken them comes from a profound disruption, a moment when the individual realizes that their current way of living is no longer sufficient. This could be a personal crisis, such as the loss of a loved one, a career collapse, or a pervasive sense of meaninglessness, or it could stem from broader societal upheavals, like wars or cultural shifts, that force introspection. Jung's observation resonates in today's world, where many face existential challenges, mental health crises, economic instability, or the disorientation caused by rapid technological change. Yet, even amid such adversity, not everyone responds by seeking their own path. Jung suggests that the majority prefer the comfort of the familiar, avoiding the burdensome and lonely process of self-realization. As he puts it, for many are called, but few are chosen, highlighting that while the potential exists, only a few heed the call. This rarity is not a mark of elitism, but a reflection of the difficulty involved. Developing personality requires a willingness to confront suffering head-on, to question the assumptions of one's upbringing and society, and to forge a new way forward. It is a path less traveled because it demands more than most are prepared to give. Adversity, in Jung's framework, is the spark that ignites the development of personality. It is the sharpest need that jolts the individual out of complacency and into a deeper engagement with their inner life. This aligns with the hero's journey archetype, a narrative Jung often drew upon, where the protagonist must face trials to emerge transformed. Consider a modern example, a person who loses their job in a corporate downsizing. For some, this might lead to despair or a frantic search for another role within the same system. For others, however, it could prompt a reevaluation of their life's direction, pushing them to pursue a long-suppressed passion or to redefine success on their own terms. This latter response mirrors Jung's idea of personality emerging from necessity. Historically, adversity has often catalyzed the rise of remarkable individuals. Think of figures like Nelson Mandela, whose imprisonment forced him to confront his inner strength and emerge as a leader of unparalleled moral clarity. For Jung, such moments of crisis are not merely obstacles, but opportunities, albeit painful ones, to discover and actualize one's unique law. In today's context, the pressures of social media and global connectivity can amplify adversity, creating a constant comparison that erodes self-worth. Yet, these same pressures can also serve as a wake-up call, urging individuals to break free from external validation and listen to their inner voice. Adversity, then, is not just a barrier, but a doorway to personality, provided one has the courage to step through. The path to personality is fraught with challenges, chief among them isolation and ridicule. Jung vividly describes the psychological cost of this journey. The development of personality from its germinal state to full consciousness is at once a charism and a curse. Its first result is the conscious and unavoidable separation of the single being from the undifferentiated and unconscious herd. This means isolation, and there is no more comforting word for it. Neither family, nor society, nor position can save him from it. The development of personality is a favor that must be paid for dearly. This separation is not just physical, but existential. The individual must detach from the collective mindset, relying on their own judgment rather than the approval of others. In a world where social bonds often define identity, this can feel like a profound loss. Jung likens it to a curse because it strips away the comfort of belonging, leaving the individual to stand alone. Compounding this isolation is the ridicule that often accompanies nonconformity. Jung writes, "If he listens to the voice, then he is different and isolated, for he has decided to follow the law that confronts him from within. His own law, everyone will cry. He alone knows better, has to know better. It is the law, the vocation, as little his own as the lion that fells him, although it is undoubtedly this particular lion that kills him, and not any other lion." Those who deviate from the norm are frequently mocked or misunderstood. In modern times, this dynamic is intensified by social media, where dissenting voices can be swiftly criticized or canceled. For instance, an artist who rejects commercial trends to pursue a unique vision might face derision from peers or the public. Yet it is precisely this commitment to their inner law that marks the beginnings of personality. Overcoming these challenges requires immense courage, the courage to be different, to endure loneliness, and to trust in one's own path despite external scorn. Jung sees this as a heroic act, one that liberates the individual from the tyranny of the collective and sets them on the road to true freedom. While the development of personality is an individual pursuit, its impact extends to society at large. Jung argues that societies need individuals who have achieved personality, especially during times of crisis, to prevent chaos and guide the collective forward. He warns of the dangers of an unconscious masses. The fact is that the group, because of its unconsciousness, has no freedom of choice, so that, within it, psychic life works itself out like an uncontrolled law of nature. There is set going a causally connected process that comes to rest only in catastrophe. For when new conditions not provided for by the old conventions arise, then panic seizes the human being who has been held unconscious by routine, much as it seizes an animal, and with equally unpredictable results. In contrast, those who have developed personality serve as stabilizers. Jung explains, personality does not allow itself to be seized by panic, for it already has terror behind it. It is equal to the changing conditions brought by time, and is unknowingly and unwillingly a leader. These individuals, having faced their own inner struggles, are not easily swayed by collective hysteria. They act as mountain peaks, rising above the mass, offering clarity and direction when others falter. Historical examples abound. Leaders like Abraham Lincoln, who steered the United States through the Civil War, or thinkers like Socrates, whose independent thought challenged Athenian norms and influenced Western philosophy. In our current era, marked by misinformation and polarization, the need for such personalities is acute. They counteract the echo chambers of social media and the blind adherence to ideology, offering a model of autonomy and resilience that can inspire others. Despite its rarity, Jung insists that the potential for personality is universal. He writes, "Insofar as every individual has his own inborn law of life, it is theoretically possible for every man to follow this law before all others, and so to become a personality, that is, to achieve completeness." This is a democratizing vision. Personality is not reserved for the privileged or the gifted. It is a possibility for all who are willing to listen to their inner voice and undertake the journey. The call may be faint for some, drowned out by the noise of daily life, but it exists nonetheless. In today's world, where collective identities, be they political, cultural, or digital, often overshadow individual ones, this message is vital. The pressure to conform is immense. Yet Jung reminds us that within each person lies the seed of something greater. To nurture it requires effort, but the potential is there, waiting to be realized. Jung concludes his exploration of personality with an acknowledgement of its mystery. What is called personality is a great and mysterious question. Yet, even amid this uncertainty, its value is clear. For the individual, it is a liberation, a stream finding its proper bed, a seed freed to grow. For society, it is a safeguard against chaos and a source of renewal. In our tumultuous times, Jung's call for the rise of personality resonates deeply. Not for nothing is it just our own epoch that calls for the liberating personality, for the one who distinguishes himself from the inescapable power of collectivity, thus freeing himself at least in a psychic way, and who lights a hopeful watchfire announcing to others that at least one man has succeeded in escaping from the fateful identity with the group soul. We need individuals who dare to be themselves, courageous souls who, through their authenticity, uplift both their own lives and the world around them. The development of personality is not just a personal triumph, it is a gift to humanity, a beacon in the darkness of conformity. As Jung envisioned, it is through such individuals that we find hope, transformation, and the promise of a more conscious, resilient society.